Welcome to Rockingham for rounds 10, 11 and 12 in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. Luke Herbert has been dominating the championship, but James Blake Baldwin is right behind him in the championship standings, and Lyndsay was able to catch up to him before the first of today's races.
Thanks, Lloyd. Yes, I am here with the one and only James. So, James, you're 0.2 of a second barely in the lead. What's your plans going into it?
Yeah, this weekend is going to be really, really tough. Jack Harding is, as you say, about 1 or 2 tenths behind me. I know he's going to be quick, along with Luke, Johnny as well. So really just going to try and sort of go out and stay ahead. You know, aim of racing is to cross the line first, but never works out to plan. So see how we go.
Brilliant. So obviously you've got race 1 today, race 2 tomorrow. Race 2 is your second fastest qualifying time. What have you got going on for that?
Nothing really. I mean, luckily, both my laps were within sort of, I think, less than a tenth of each other, the fastest laps. So we have the consistency. Teams put together a really, really consistent fast car for me this weekend, Blink Motorsport. So, you know, credit to them. It's down to me, really, and what I can do. I have no idea in regards to tactics for race 2, but let's get race 1 out of the way first.
Brilliant. Right, well, on that bombshell, we'll hand it over to the one and only Andy to run us through the rest of the grid.
Thanks very much, Lyndsay. Well, the car's lining up on the grid then, and it's James Blake Baldwin who lines on pole position with Jack Harding alongside. Championship leader Luke Herbert is third, ahead of Johnny Greensmith. Then it's Carl Garnett and Jack Sycamore on row 3, with Steve Roberts and Will Stacey. A welcome return for Will Stacey, the winner of the opening round of the season back at Silverstone. Aidan Hill's one to watch for. He should move forward from 9th, as well as Sam Tatler 10th. Then it's Simon Baldwin and Lewis Carter, James Kell and Christian White, with Tom Parker and Gary Townsend on the 8th row. Row 9 for Bradley Kent and Alec Livesley. Row 10, Mark Swarbrick and Nick Rutter. Alex Miller and Javier Brooker next, ahead of John Stack and Ian McDonald, who round out the field. So the championship standings, just 6 points separate Luke Herbert and James Blake Baldwin coming into this race, with Jack Harding a further 4 back, and they are the top 3 on the grid, but not quite in that order. Herbert down in 3rd, Blake Baldwin and Harding on the front row. Well, we've had the green flag from the back of the grid. We're about to go racing in round number 10 of the championship. The lights go out, away we go, and Jack Harding makes the jump from the outside of row number 1. He will lead down towards turn number 1. He gets himself ahead of Blake Baldwin 2nd, Herbert coming around the outside in 3rd, and Johnny Greensmith there, the white and blue car number 2 in 4th position, trying to get involved as well. Up the inside comes Carl Garnett. Oh, there's a bit of a run between the two of them. They just about save it. So down into the braking zone at the hairpin for the first time of asking. Harding leads the way, Blake Baldwin into the back of him, nearly under braking. Oh, a few of them run wide. Gary Townsend out onto the grass. Someone else further back is in the dust as well. But they will all, I think, get through with varying degrees of success through the Dean hairpin. It will be Harding from Blake Baldwin from Greensmith, the top 3, with Luke Herbert in danger of getting hung out to dry here because there's a whole sea of cars behind. Carl Garnett is 5th and Aidan Hill's up to 6th from 9th on the grid. A brilliant start from Aidan Hill's teammate to Luke Herbert, of course, and he is very nearly going to meet his teammate on it as he starts to slide backwards down into Corby. Oh, Hills makes another move up the inside. Brilliant stuff there. Gets past Jack Sycamore under braking. Through the double apex left-hander. Everyone continuing on their way. There's Nick Rutter, number 99, battling away towards the tail end of the field. At the tail end of the field is Ian McDonald, but the leaders turn through Gracelands for the first time, back down towards the Tarzan hairpin, and you can see that Johnny Greensmith is not that far behind James Blake Baldwin as they flick it into the right-hander. And then back on their way down the school straight, Simon Baldwin further back, trying to make a move up the inside of Sam Tatler. Not sure whether that one paid off, but as they head back up now towards the Brook chicane, it is Harding from Blake Baldwin from Greensmith at the end of the first lap. Herbert 4th, Garnett 5th, Hill 6th, Sycamore 7th, and Steve Roberts, by the looks of it, is in 8th position. So he's lost a place off the start. Keep an eye out for Will Stacey as well. There he is in the blue car at the back end of that lead train. Won that very first race of the season at Silverstone, but then in race 2, another car had a brake failure going down into Beckett's and completely T-boned him, wiped him out of the race, and we haven't seen him back since. It's great to have him back in the championship, a definite race winner. So too is Aidan Hills, although he's still looking for his first ever win in the championship. He's attacking Carl Garnett as they head down towards the Dean hairpin on this remarkable charge through the field. Goes to the outside line. This is for 5th position as they turn into the left-hander. Can't do it there. Sycamore in danger of getting eased out wide by Steve Roberts. In fact, he does get eased out wide by Steve Roberts, but the next 2 corners are right-handers. They trade a little bit of paint, but I think Sycamore will go back through. And then it is Will Stacey, the blue car, next in line, trying to continue his march towards the front as well, having started, where did Will Stacey start this race? Some way back down the, 8th, beg your pardon, on the grid, 8th place for Will Stacey. So actually he's lost a bit of ground off the start, so he wants to try and start regaining those places before too much longer. Out of Corby, leaders just starting to space themselves out ever so slightly. Harding getting away from Blake Baldwin and Greensmith, dicing over second. Good to see Greensmith with a bit more pace this weekend. He ran well back at the start of the season at Silverstone, but then lacked pace a little bit at Knockhill and Brands Hatch. He was still able to pick up a race win at Knockhill and a second place at Brands Hatch, but only in the reverse grid races. Before then, he was really struggling, and so he arrives here 4th in the championship, just Johnny, on 574 points, so some 22 points off the championship lead, and with work to be done, he is running ahead of the championship lead at the moment though. Hayden Hill's there flashing the headlights by the looks of it as he heads down towards the chicane for the second time, and then back out along the pit straight where the slipstream starts to take effect, bunches the whole field back together. And Hayden Hill's not far behind Carl Garnett. He will be trying to get a bit of a tow from the number 19 car in front, especially because Carl is not that close to the leading 4, so he won't be getting such an aerodynamic benefit. As you can see, fairly well spaced out actually in Mazda racing terms. Don't expect that to last much longer. Head down into the Dean Hairpin, Blake Baldwin not far behind Harding. Herbert 4th place, looking to try and make progress still. Garnett 5th, so he fended off Hayden Hills that time through. No change in the order at all behind Simon Baldwin there though. Look, the second of the blue cars with the orange stripes looking up the inside of the all-blue car of Will Stacey, and Simon Baldwin's had better qualifying results than the one he had here this morning, but he's looking to try and put that to bed in the races. Didn't make that one work, but he has found a way past Sam Tatlin. We saw him trying to take that place away on the first lap down at the hairpin. Leading trio, or quartet I should say, coming through Corby. It looks like the raciest of the 4, perhaps unsurprisingly, is the championship leader Luke Herbert, who's right on the rear bumper of Johnny Greensmith as they head through Gracelands, back down the straight towards Tarzan, and he'll want to get past Greensmith fairly quickly because he can see the leading 2 just starting to gap them. He won't want to let Harding and Blake Baldwin get away. Sense at this sort of midway point of the season that it's likely to be those 3, isn't it? Herbert, Blake Baldwin and Harding who fight for the championship. Yes, Johnny Greensmith and Hayden Hills who are tied for 4th place in the championship are not a million miles back, but they haven't shown the consistent ability to fight for race victories that's required to win this championship. It's one thing to be consistent, but when you're up against the likes of Herbert and Blake Baldwin and Harding, all 3 of whom are extremely experienced MX-5 SuperCup racers now, you have to be winning races. There's no alternative. You can't just run around in 2nd, 3rd and 4th every race. You have to be winning races, and thus far, Hayden Hill's looking for his 1st win of the season, and Johnny Greensmith his 2nd. They both have some work to do if they want to become serious contenders before the end of the year. There is Hayden Hills though, looking to the outside of Carl Garnett, and behind Steve Roberts is up the inside of Jack Sycamore, and that's for 7th place, and that's a nice move made there by Steve Roberts, former BMW Compact Cup champion. He picks another place up there, so nicely done. Next target will be Hayden Hills. Steve Roberts is 6th in the championship coming into this weekend, but he is some 46 points off the lead, even with drop scores taken into account. So that's some way back at this stage of the year, really. But it's definitely been a more positive start to 2018 than Steve had last year. So good to see him becoming more of a regular fixture at the front of the order. Here he is again, solidly inside the top 10 as he tries to find a way past Garnett and Hills. Leaders though, well look at this, look at the way that James Blake Baldwin has reeled in Jack Harding, so Blake Baldwin could yet challenge for the race lead. In fact, Harding is wide there through Gracelands and Blake Baldwin is alongside, down towards the Tarzan hairpin. It's the outside line though, going to be last of the late breakers, but you'd imagine that Harding will hang on the inside. You can go right round the outside here though, and get the inside for the chicane, but James knew that if he did that, Jack was always likely to put him on the grass coming out of the corner, so Jack Harding though really having to drive defensively here, down into the Brook chicane. Still Harding hanging on. Meanwhile, Luke Herbert was going for 3rd place in the background, and I think managed to get it, make it stick, didn't he? Let's have a look as they make their way back onto the banking. Is the blue car that appears in 3rd position. We know it's still Harding from Blake Baldwin, the leading 2. What's going on for 3rd? We'll find out momentarily. In fact, they've chopped an awfully long way back through that side-by-side running, so even though the leaders have been dicing, so too have 3rd and 4th places, and Harding again is going to have to defend down towards the Dean hairpin. Blake Baldwin goes to the outside line here. Now you can, again, go right round the outside if you're feeling brave. James Blake Baldwin, usually one of the bravest drivers out there, but I think even he realised that was fraught with danger. Herbert is now 3rd though, so Luke Herbert has got himself ahead of Johnny Greensmith into third. That's held the wall up and allowed the rest of the chasing pack to close in. Leaders continue to dice away though as they go into Yentwood and Graceland. Sorry, Yentwood and Chapman Kerf, excuse me, getting ahead of myself. Through the long right-hander, there is Herbert, then Greensmith, then you can see how much closer Garnet, Hills and the rest all are. Back through Kirby though, the leading two continue to pull away. James Blake Baldwin, winner of the most recent race, the reverse grid race at Brands Hatch last time out, after Luke Herbert put on a clinic in the first two races and didn't exactly have a comfortable winning margin in either of them, but he did win them both. And Blake Baldwin with a first, a third and a second at Brands Hatch, which is decent consistency. And he'd love very much to get himself a car between he and Luke Herbert. If he could win this race with Herbert third, by my reckoning, they would be only a couple of points apart then. And of course, you've got fastest lap to take into the equation as well, which at the moment Jack Harding has the fastest lap, which is set on lap 2. So the first flying lap of the race was a 1:43.621, which would have actually been good enough for fourth on the grid. So that was a really good lap that from Harding. Perhaps unlikely to be beaten now, as everyone's started to get themselves all boxed in together. Back onto the pit straight they go again. Underneath the start-finish gantry, approaching half-race distance now. Look at this, it's soon turning into a 6-car fight for third now, because Herbert, having got himself ahead, he's had almost a lap in third place and has not been able to pull away from Greensmith behind. So Luke Herbert still has some defensive work to do. Simon Baldwin and Sam Tatler together, just ahead of James Kell, who's really improved his pace this weekend. James is closing in on them as they head into Dean. Sort of jockey for position, but I don't think anyone was really close enough to make a move there. So Sam Tatler in the AK Automotive car stays in line in the middle. Back through Yentwood, then Chapman, and single file really through here. You can't particularly make a move at this part of the circuit. It's very difficult to do so anyway. There is a car stuck at the side of the road there, which I believe is Mark Swarbrick, who went out on the first lap. That's a shame. It's Mark, who started towards the back end of the field anyway. We missed that on the first lap, but he, I think, was in the gravel, so possibly there was some contact involved. Simon Baldwin continuing to fend off Sam Tatler, though. Of course, he overtook Sam right back at the next corner on the first lap, and hasn't really been able to pull a huge gap, but he has at least been able to hang on to the position. Simon knocks a break though into Tarzan. That will potentially give Sam Tatler half an opportunity to attack again as they make their way down towards the Brook Chicane, or at least consider the attack. Down into the left, right, left flip-flop chicane. And it doesn't look as though Sam is really close enough to do anything here about Simon Baldwin. He's been in the slipstream every lap so far. Hasn't yet been able to make a move. Right, back with the third place battle, although it's really actually the fifth place battle at Hottingham again, isn't it? Because Herbert's getting away from Greensmith, and Greensmith is therefore getting away from Carl Garnett and Aidan Hills, who are still battling over fifth place. And Aidan Hills to the outside line. He's really late on the brakes. He's trying to turn in. Oh, that could end in tears. Garnett was always going to come back up the inside. Now, where is Steve Roberts in all of this? Is he close enough maybe to capitalise? He's going to get himself alongside Aidan Hills. He didn't realise he was there, I don't think, then, as he tried to move back over onto the racing line. That rather scared Steve Roberts off, though, and so Steve will drop back in line behind again. Don't forget the orange car there is Jack Sycamore, who is looking for one of his better results of the season so far. 7th is his best finish of the year thus far. And 8th at the moment, isn't he? So one more place to gain and he'll match his best finish. 2 more and it will become his best race of the year so far. Jack, another one who often tends to get quicker as the weekend goes on. It's good to see him top 10 solidly, even at this early stage. Lead battle continues though. Still Harding from Blake Baldwin, Herbert third, then Greensmith and Garnett, then Aidan Hills very much more on the defence than the attack now, with Roberts starting to take more of his attention than Carl Garnett is up the road, and Garnett therefore is going after Johnny Greensmith a little bit. Back out onto another lap they're about to come. About 2/3 race distance completed now, approaching 3/4 actually, and still close at the very front. There are the leaders, just a couple of tenths apart that time around between Harding and Blake Baldwin, and Blake Baldwin again is in the slipstream through the banking at turn 1. Harding will really have to defend, and Oh, James desperately wants to get to the inside. If only he could get to the inside, he'd make this move stick. But around the outside, it's always going to be difficult. You can see Harding there, I believe, deliberately just running the car in a bit deep on the brakes just to dissuade Blake Baldwin from running right around the outside. Through Yentwood. And still no change. But Blake Baldwin may be a little bit quicker than Harding. There's not much to choose between them, as James was saying after qualifying. Only a couple of tenths in it, but a couple of tenths in qualifying often translates to significantly less than that in the races. That's what we're seeing here. But Blake Baldwin, it's one thing being as quick as the car in front, but you've got to be significantly quicker to find a way through. Because when the cars are so evenly matched, it is quite difficult sometimes to pick out a place where you can actually make the overtake. Turning back through Gracelands, and these two have really detached themselves from the rest of the field then, much more than we've seen really at any other stage this year. Very often this year we've seen that the lead train of cars is at least sort of 4 or 5 cars, sometimes even more than that for much of the race. But here these two have really got their head down, taken advantage maybe of some of the dicing behind, and have really pulled away. Blake Baldwin though still forcing Harding to defend, but they're not really losing all that much time to the cars behind at this stage. Back out onto the straight they go again. Now watch the slipstream here. If we stay with them across the start-finish line, you can see Blake Baldwin a bit tighter off the corner. That carries a bit more speed up the hill. But then he's in the tow. He's about 2 or 3 car lengths back as they cross the line. And look at the way that he closes. That's the slipstream doing that. It's not that his car's any quicker. It's just getting the aerodynamic advantage from running in the hole in the air, being punched by the car in front of him. Jack Harding, who now has to defend. Blake Baldwin tried to sell him the dummy then, tried to run around the outside going into the Dean hairpin, as if to say, I'm not going to overtake here, I'm just going to take the usual racing line. You don't need to defend the position. But then of course Jack realised that maybe he did, hugged the inside line, and Blake Baldwin wasn't able to make that work either. But without a mistake coming from Jack Harding, you do feel that it will have to be something like that Blake Baldwin uses to get through. He's going to have to try and outfox Jack, who is the less experienced of the two, although you forget that because he's been around in this championship for several seasons now. And of course, James Blake Baldwin is a former Mark 1 champion. Indeed, he's a former SuperCup champion from back in the early days, several seasons ago now. 2014 was his championship winning year. So 4 years since he lifted the title. He really would like to do so again in 2018, and he'll feel that this is probably his best chance that he's had since 2014 to do that. Onto the brakes, through Tarzan, and the Automotive Machine fighting against the Blink Motorsport car. These two are the top teams these days in the championship as well. Both capable, as you can see, of producing race-winning cars, and very evenly matched cars they are as well. So Blake Baldwin, he's followed Harding for another lap. He's now setting himself up once again for this good exit from the Brook chicane. If he can turn really tight, he might be able to get alongside on the exit, do a bit of a slide job. No, can't do it. But Harding is really going to have to defend this time. Look at that, immediately dives down to the bottom of the road, hugging the white line all the way across the start-finish line, forcing Blake Baldwin to the outside. They're really using all of the track here in this dice for the race lead. Harding will have to just drive around the bottom of the racetrack through turn 1 and down into the Dean hairpin. Blake Baldwin, look at him down below the white line there. That's not out of bounds though in that instance. Harding locks up the brakes, runs in a bit deeper. Can Blake Baldwin go right around the outside this time? He's going to try it, but no, not quite the room. And Harding made it clear that he was going to use all of the road available to him on the exit of the corner, whether Blake Baldwin was still alongside or not. Back out again, but again Blake Baldwin gets the better exit up the inside towards Chapman. Can he get through? No, there's still no way to get past Jack Harding, who's driving a flawless race so far. Blake Baldwin, it's race 1 of the weekend. He won't want to resort to anything really physical or really risky. If it was race 3, then it might be different, but they've only got a few weeks before their next round of the championship at Castle Combe. This, the only rounds of the championship that are not part of the TCR UK package. So they'll be back at Castle Combe next time out, then Alton Park, Croft and Donington. And his championship battle is going to seesaw its way right the way through the year. Blake Baldwin's going around the outside at Gracelands. That's something I never thought I'd see. And he gets pushed onto the grass for his troubles. But he's started to get a bit more frustrated now. Is there a gap up the inside into Tarzan? Not quite. Blake Baldwin, though, is visibly quicker than Jack Harding. He's almost pushing him around the circuit now. But Jack is doing everything that he's entitled to do. He's holding the racing line. I know it looks like he's shoving Blake Baldwin off the road, but he's just holding the racing line, which he's perfectly entitled to do. Again, Blake Baldwin tries the outside into the chicane. There's more contact. contact. The rear bumper gets pushed loose now on Jack Harding's car. Now that's going to act like a bit of an air brake when they get out onto the pit straight, and he wants to hope that the air doesn't get behind it completely and push it even further loose, but that might just be of further benefit to Blake Baldwin behind. Across the line they go, onto another lap, and that time around they were quite significantly slower than Luke Herbert. So now that this battle is starting to get a little bit more physical, they're really starting to hold each other up, and Herbert's getting closer and closer. Look at the way that Blake Baldwin's car is dancing around through the flat out turn one as he desperately tries to get back to the inside line. He still can't get there. With the bumper really flapping in the wind, that's going to be killing the straight line performance of Jack Harding's car, even on a short straight like this one down towards Gentwood. But look how much closer the other blue car, the all blue car, is getting. Luke Herbert is ominously close to them now, and the man who really hasn't had the pace to fight for a race win on outright speed in this race is looking like he might be able to, just because the leaders are so busy squabbling with each other. Back through the Piff-Paff chicane they go into Corby, and Harding weathering the storm for now. That contact I don't think has done any significant damage to the suspension or the wheel or anything, it's just the bodywork flapping in the wind, but it is quite a windy day here at Rockingham, so that's going to be really hurting. You can see it's getting looser and looser as well as we go further around the lap into Tarzan. No outside at Graceland's antics this time for Blake Baldwin. He instead just plonks the car on the outside line into Tarzan, tries to carry speed out of the turn. There's another good look at the rear bumper there. I don't think they quite made contact that time, but it was fairly close. And about to come on to another lap, but we're getting towards the end of this race now. This might even be the last lap that they're about to start, and James Blake Baldwin still frustratedly cannot find a way past Jack Harding. Through the chicane they go, onto another lap, and takes the wide line this time, does Blake Baldwin. Tried to straighten the wheel out and get the power down a bit earlier. Harding pulls to the inside, but Blake Baldwin surely is going to be alongside as they go on to the final lap now. Inside line for Harding, outside for Blake Baldwin. Does he go right around the outside? No. Takes the wide sweeping entry into turn one, and look at the extra speed that means he can carry through the corner. Goes to the outside again now down towards the Dean hairpin, but we've seen this before. Harding is just going to sit on the inside and defend the position, but look who's arrived. Luke Herbert is right there with them now. It's going to be a three-way shootout on the final lap for victory in this first race of the weekend. That's been, well, they haven't been changing positions quite as often as maybe we've seen in the past, but it's still been an exhilarating race given just how closely matched these two have been. Jack Harding has led every lap of this race so far. Don't forget it was Blake Baldwin though who started on pole position, and he will not be happy that he lost the lead at the start and has not been able to get it back. Back through Piff-Paff, Herbert with them now though, so 3 cars for the leads. They head down towards Corby, and this might just relieve some of the pressure from Jack Harding, because this means that Blake Baldwin, instead of just 100% focusing on attack mode and trying to get the lead away, he has to defend, because Herbert, look, he's looking up the inside line, trying to get second place away, can't do it into Graceland's. It's more important for Blake Baldwin to keep Herbert behind him than it is to get in front of Harding, because Herbert is the championship leader. Blake Baldwin is in front of Harding in the championship, albeit only by 4 points. Through the Tarzan hairpin again, Herbert with the widest line in, that means he gets the tightest line out and gets the power down a little bit harder than the cars around him. It's all going to come down to the scramble through the final chicane and out onto the banking once again. It looks as though Jack Harding might just have judged this to perfection though. Through the right, through the left back onto the banking, and Jack Harding, is he going to be able to do enough to hang on? Blake Baldwin with a good exit for the final corner, but I don't think he's going to get there. Jack Harding is going to take his second win of 2018, and what a victory it was. He moves himself right back into contention for the championship with a victory in round number 10 of the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup. Second place goes the way of James Blake Baldwin and Luke Herbert third. But look at this, the top 3 were separated by just over half a second at the flag. Greensmith fourth from Carl Garnett fifth, Steve Roberts sixth and Jack Sycamore seventh. Aidan Hills dropped down to 8th towards the end, Simon Baldwin 9th, and Sam Tatler rounded out the top 10. Then it was James Kell and Tom Parker ahead of Alec Libsley, Gary Townsend and Christian White. Lewis Carter was 16th, then it's Alex Miller, Bradley Kent, Xavier Brook and Nick Rutter in 20th. 21st for John Stack, 22nd Ian McDonald, Will Stacey was an unfortunate late retirement, and Mark Swarbrick out on the first lap.
Jack, fantastic start there and congratulations on your victory.
Yeah, it was good. It all went to plan really. We got a good start, got James off the start, moved into first. Really quick for the first few laps. Thought we was going to drive away. We set the fastest lap, and then the car just went off in a massive fashion after like 4 laps. So James was back on me, and then it was just a very, very tight race, shall we say. Trying to defend from James. Obviously, he's a hard contender anyway.
Case of managing the tyres, and of course tomorrow's race looks like it might be hotter again still.
Yeah, exactly. The weather forecast is supposed to be a bit hotter. We might have to make a change. But yeah, the car goes off quite big round here. It's surprising, you know. The car feels absolutely great for a few laps, and then it just goes off massively. So yeah, it was very tight, but we're really happy with the win for that.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you after race 2.
Yeah, can I just say as well, that was for Bell and that was for Hope.
James, really tough first race out there. Congratulations on your second place. Didn't quite go according to plan though.
No, unfortunately, Jack, you know, defended really well all the way round. Felt like we had the pace to catch him and pass, but no, I mean, he put the car in the right place every single time, and sadly, I just sat staring at his bumper for 20 minutes.
And Luke behind as well, putting a bit of pressure on.
Yeah, Luke caught us up. You know, we tried our best to sort of gap Luke as much as we could, and the moment we started fighting, he came straight back on our bumpers.
Tough, but you've got race 2 tomorrow morning. It's going to be warm, so we're hearing from the forecast. Anything you can do to change the car setup to try and get you up that further place?
Yeah, change the pink squishy thing behind the wheel. Probably be a little bit more successful then.
Well, we'll see what happens. Congratulations on your second place. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Luke, third place in the first race. Got to be looking good for your championship, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, to win the MX-5 SuperCup, you've got to be consistent. You know, it's not the continuation of poles we've had at this first few rounds. But yeah, we're just struggling here a little bit. But as long as we keep getting on the podium, you know, that's all we need. So you know, it's good results for me and my sponsors: SRC Recycling, A&S Tooling, Digital Motorsports, McEwan Wealth Management, and ACC Tyres. You know, we couldn't be without them. So yeah, you know, great result.
Looking forward to race 2. Temperature tomorrow is going to be quite warm. Does that affect the way that you approach the car setup?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very hot in today's race. It's predicted to be hot tomorrow. Going to change the setup a little bit. We were struggling with rear end grip, so going to do a few tweaks on the car, lower the tyre pressures a little bit to try and keep them consistent throughout the whole race, and I'll try and get higher than third.
We'll look forward to seeing that. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you very much.